What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Giga Chad Books. I am your host, Giga Chad Books. Today we got a little something different going on because I haven't been keeping up with the things like I should be keeping up with them. So today I'm going to be talking about the rest of the books that I read in January. I have 3 books here that I'm going to talk about. And this is everything that we have. First off, I read another Kurt Vonnegut book. We have Bluebeard. As we know, I'm a frequent indulger in Kurt Vonnegut books, and he is definitely one of my favorite authors, and this book was no exception. I was kind of surprised because this seemed to be kind of like a deeper cut. I hadn't ever heard anybody speak about Bluebeard, but it turned out to be, I don't know, it felt different from what I'm used to, while also having the signature just Kurt Vonnegut, like whimsy and satire and dark humor and, overall just intrigue surrounding it. But this book was awesome. It's a fictional autobiography, which I don't think that I've ever heard of that before, of that having been made. Let me know if you know of any other fictional autobiographies. But I found this to be just exceptional. You follow Rabo Karabekian, who is a painter, and he's like known as one of the great abstract expressionists, and he's just extremely talented, and just follows his journey in becoming a master artist. Kurt Vonnegut always has a very unique way of telling his stories and how he lays them out. Like you're following this dude write his autobiography, and he's just talking about writing it and what's going on around him. And he just lives in this house all by himself, and he's inspired to pick up his writing and to make this autobiography by this woman he comes across that ends up moving in with him, named Cersei Berman, who the book is actually dedicated to. So it's a false acknowledgement of a fictional character within a fictional autobiography, which I thought that was a cool little touch. And you're just following him in the present, interacting with Cersei Berman, and you get to see their relationship develop throughout the telling of this story. And there's always this thing with Kurt Vonnegut where it's never put into chronological order. Cat's Cradle was a little bit different, but you definitely see it with Slaughterhouse-Five is the prime example. But also it happens in Breakfast of Champions as well, where you kind of just get little mementos scattered throughout different periods of time, always kind of flashing forward, flashing back. You don't never really know where you are. It's just told in a very non-chronological order, which I always find to be so interesting. This book is actually really morbid. I found this to be one of the darker books that I've read from him, and it kind of affected me at one point. Like, I kept putting it down. I was just like, fuck, dude, like, this just sucks. Like, so much death and not as much, it didn't feel as lighthearted. I still really liked it, and I thought the way that it wrapped up was absolutely beautiful. It has a fantastic ending to it, and really just satisfied me in every aspect of his storytelling. And I love Rabo Karabekian. The only thing that I do wish is, like, I wish that there were some kind of, like, portrayal of the arts within this. I wish that I could have seen something that maybe he made, a representation of it or something. I'm going to leave a quote with this. "A genius working alone is invariably ignored as a lunatic." Typical Kurt Vonnegut wisdom. Alright, so moving on from Kurt Vonnegut's Bluebeard, we have another one of my favorite authors. We have John Steinbeck with Tortilla Flat. I love this book cover. I think it's awesome. This is just freaking beautiful. So as I said, John Steinbeck is another author that I frequently frequent, and this is just another really great book from him. Very, very lighthearted. Not, I think that there's this beautiful thing with John Steinbeck that I really adore, where he manages to mix in very, very light and dark themes. He mixes them really well, and kind of like that's a theme that I get from his books, is like there's always light within the darkness. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And this book isn't nearly as tragic as some of the other ones I've read. but it's really great. The characters here are quite lovable. They're just a bunch of bums. They're all like homeless, and then they somehow just come into possession of this house, and then it's just owned by one guy, and then he like asks a friend to move in, and then the friend asks another friend to move in, and then it just like snowballs until there's like 6 guys living in the house, and you just follow them just being bums and shit, and just like they are absolutely beautiful characters, and they're just super silly, and they do nothing but sit around in the sun all day and just talk and drink wine. That is their whole goal in life, is to just find out how they can come into possession of another gallon of wine. The guy that first moves in, the main character is Danny. He comes into possession of these houses because his grandfather died, and he asked his friend Pylon to move in with him, and he has 2 houses. So Danny lives in one, and then Pylon moves into the other house. And Danny is like, Pylon, you have to pay me money in order to live in this house. You have to pay rent. Pylon's like, word, dude. And anytime Pylon comes into possession of money, he just finds an excuse. He's like, money does not show Danny how much I truly care for him. A gift would be more significant. So I will go and buy us a gallon of wine, and we can put it to good use. Again, has another really great ending to it that kind of wraps up all of the pieces really well. I thought that it had a beautiful ending. So I do totally suggest that one too. It won't take you long to get through, and if you want something lighthearted and fun and silly, I totally suggest it. Moving on, we have a book that I just finished yesterday. It's Tokyo Ueno Station by Yumiri. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but I just don't give a fuck. I just saw this at Barnes & Noble, and I was just like, I'm gonna buy it because it looks insane. Like, this is a freaking beautiful looking book with all of these colors and stuff. So I just got it, didn't know anything about it, and I really enjoyed it. It's a super small book, and you follow like this ghost of this man who has died. He just is existing, without a form. He's a formless existence. He has no means of interacting with the world. All he can do is just look out upon everything that's happening in front of him. And he's just around this train station, kind of following people around and just eavesdropping on them and listening to their conversations and whatnot. It's told in like a disconnected fashion as well, kind of like how Kurt Vonnegut tells his stories, where you have the present, but then you also have the past mixed into it. Like an event will happen, it'll start raining, and then all of a sudden the narrator, the ghost in question, he's taken back to an old memory that he had of whatever, and that's kind of how it is. Little moments will spring up, and it takes him back to a memory of a time before. It was really interesting. I did really enjoy this book. It's super dark. There isn't really much light to be found here. And this wraps up extremely tragically. Like, one of the most tragic endings I have read in any book ever. I put it down. I was like, man, like, nothing good happened. Like, nothing in this book was good. Like, everything that happens to this dude freaking sucks. During his life and after his life. Like, none of it is good. But overall, just another very enjoyable read. Definitely darker than I would have imagined, especially with how colorful this is. Like, this is so colorful, but the themes here are so freaking dark. So I thought the pacing was phenomenal. It's not even really split up into chapters or anything. You kind of just, like, this. It's almost 200 pages, so it's definitely not something that you'll likely read in one sitting. But the pacing is so good and so fluid that I could totally see it being that way. I do totally suggest this book. Just be prepared for it to be very dark and depressing, and just overall, life sucks. It's kind of what I got from this book. Also sucks to be a ghost, because you just see nothing but death and despair, and it's no good. I don't want to be a ghost anytime soon. But yeah, those are all the books that I read. I have been reading this little book that I got. You can probably barely even see it. I just got this off of thriftbooks.com. I didn't expect it to be this small, but like, it's literally, like, look at that. Have you ever seen a tinier book than this? It's crazy. But it's cool. Just following the samurai code. Honor, integrity, bushido. All the good things, man. How to live life confidently, and how to take care of yourself, and just always approaching a situation as honorably as you can. I haven't finished it. I still have a ways to go. But some smart things that I have obtained from this. It will not do to think about going at it in a long roundabout way. One's heart may slacken. He may miss his chance. So real. By bringing shame to a person, how could one expect to make him a better man? So real. A real man does not think of victory or defeat. He plunges recklessly towards irrational death. By doing this, you will awaken from your dreams. So real. But that's everything. That's what I'm going to leave you guys with. Think about it. Yamamoto Tsunetomo is quite the wise man. If only I could have known him. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that today you find your way, you find the path that you need to be on. And I hope that you read some of these books. I think they're all really great. I wouldn't suggest them otherwise. I would never lead you guys astray. But thanks so much for watching. And if you subscribed, that would be cool. If you commented, that would also be cool. I love looking at comments. So thanks for watching, and y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Goodbye.